Let's call them order the October 12th Park Recreation Community Education meeting. Guess we can do the minutes. We have enough people? Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you got everybody.
No, my screen had something else on it, so I could only see you.
Okay.
All right. So if somebody wants to make a motion to approve the minutes from the September 21st meeting. You can hear me, right, Alicia?
I can hear you. You're
Okay.
doing good.
This is Saul. I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I will second that.
All right. All in favor. Kevin,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Saul,
Yes.
and I'm yes as well. So the minutes are approved.
Thank you kindly. Anybody have any commissioner updates? Oh, there we go. Thanks, Tim.
So the only thing I'll add is it's in the town article, but they had the percentages and they approved the revenue to be transferred over. The percentages were 40 for open space, 20 for housing and recreation, 18 for historic, and 2 for administration. Those are the percentages. The total funds were down this year for some reason. They were at 46,944.
So that was the total for the recreation bucket?
No, the recreation bucket was only 9,389. Yep.
Oh, for a total for this year.
Yep.
Okay, that's added to the rest of the bucket. No, that makes sense because we also didn't put money into it the way that we have in the past. So it's sad, but that makes sense. And remind me again, it was 21, but we went down 1%, right?
No, I thought we were at 20 for last year. We might have gone down. I think last year historic was at 18. Both historic and housing were at 18, and housing wanted to come back up to 20. And so that was the give and take, with the 1%. Admin dropped from 5% to 2%.
Interesting.
So you're right, we did go down from 21 to 20.
Okay, yeah, but nothing more than that. That's not a big deal.
No.
Yeah.
Well, not given you're splitting hairs with the amount that we got this time around.
Say that one more time.
You're splitting hairs with that amount that came around this time, that we got this time. Yeah. I mean, well, it comes down to, it's $9,000 for that, for fiscal year 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So 1% more on that is not a huge amount.
No, yeah, that's not I think when we talked about this last time, it was negligible. We really didn't, mind that was going into housing. I mean, it's a really important component that does need support.
I mean, it's something that we're going to have to discuss. There's a CPC meeting later this month. I can tell you right now, where I'm hoping that there will be some discussion on how to proceed with. CPC meeting is on the 20th. How to proceed with the different buckets, because there are different criteria where you can go for certain buckets.
Right.
To me, depending on how you phrase it, it could come out of the open space bucket, and it can come out of the recreation bucket.
Yep.
So I think we have to have that conversation about it. This time around, what we did, we have a very large admin bucket, and it came out of that instead.
Yeah.
Maybe we continue to do that. So I'll wait and see if they want to have a discussion on it, and I'll let you know.
I thought that they were looking for,
Town council, we're gonna talk to town council.
there you go.
We're
Yeah.
also, we also pay, for the conservation, there's a committee that gives advice.
Yeah.
And that comes out of the admin bucket, and so, Caroline was gonna reach out to them, to find out, if, we can, have a discussion on that. But I think first she was gonna talk to town council, so that was the order.
That was my understanding. Yeah. Okay. I mean, if you need me to come to any of the meetings, just let me know and I'll gladly be there.
Okay.
Cool. Anybody else? Any updates?
Nope.
Nothing from my end.
Sorry, I was writing stuff down. All right, so I just wanted to put this on here. So sports council discussion. I know, so back in 2019, the vote was made to dissolve the way that we had been parsing out fees to the sports organizations from the previous director, and to create a policy to implement fees on a more, I guess, clear and specifically manageable standpoint. So, we have our whole list of all of the different fees that, our youth players from Littleton have to pay, or at least the organizations, per person, per season. So I think at this point, a lot of the sports organizations have kind of gone in their own directions and aren't really communicating with each other very well. I think because of COVID, we, I'll take responsibility, have, been out of communication with the sports organizations, and, we really need to come back together as a group. So I think it's something that we really need to be able to plan an October meeting, and from that meeting to kind of move forward and have a meeting on a regular basis. So we had, soccer come in. We had 2 representatives that had some concerns. So we talked them out, and, we have a plan moving forward, but part of that plan moving forward is to really implement and kick this sports council into, go mode, because essentially we haven't really made anything happen with it since its inception in 2019. So Kevin and Saul, I know you guys were voted in the commission reps. So, if, not tonight, we don't have to do it because we'll all have to look at schedules and communicate with sports organizations. But, if the 2 of you want to meet up sometime in the next couple of days and just come up with a game plan of when we're going to set up that meeting, we can reach out to all the sports organizations. If they choose that they don't want to attend, that's their choice. But I think, we talked about the benefits of having the sports council, and, it's a place where groups can talk about any concerns or frustrations that they might have, and we can have instant change, right? If we have a meeting that happens prior to a park commission meeting, perhaps there's some sort of policy that can be, completed and added into the process to make things easier. So I think this is a really important piece moving forward, is to get this off the ground and really encourage people to have seats at the table, so that we can communicate with them. And, we care about our youth sports, we care about the fields, and, we want to be able to allow the youth sports to operate in, pristine fields as we possibly can. And, we've come a long way since I've been here. There were times where the fields were barely usable. So we've definitely come a long way, but, we still have work to do. So, So Kevin and Saul, if you two want to check in with me, I'll send an email out. We can, try to set up a meeting time with us. And we're asking John Kazanjian to be the representative for the department in the future, simply just because he runs all of the adult sports leagues and uses those fields as well. So it makes sense that he's already in the mix. So, that's just kind of the update. I don't know, Kevin or Saul, if you have any questions, statements, anything.
I mean, it sounds good to me. I think it's going to be, this is definitely not a reason not to try to do this. But I think it's going to be tough with all the sports in session now, or a lot of them, but I think we just pull a Zoom together and maybe try to do something like, the first Monday of the month or something like that, so that we can sort of establish something and, see what happens. So I definitely agree, and we should pull it together.
Okay. Saul, you got anything, friend?
No, I think that sounds good. I mean, if we want to, aim for maybe, first Monday or last, kind of if we want to be sort of 2 weeks ahead of the commission meeting, maybe the last whatever of the month, and that'll get us one in October before we.
Yeah, I think that would be ideal.
A couple of weeks and gets us one in October if we want to go down that path.
And, when we had the conversation with soccer, we told them this isn't something where you guys have to meet weekly or bi-weekly. I would say at least once a month. And if we're off season, then, it's kind of up to, it depends on what needs to happen, so maybe in the off season in winter, there is a lot that needs to be planned for and prepped for spring. So it's kind of at the behest of the sports council to decide, what the frequency is. But I would definitely encourage at least once a month, so that, like as Saul said, if we do it 2 weeks ahead of time, there's the ability for us to implement and discuss and come up with policy that can address things in a quicker manner.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Do you want to aim for the 29th? Is that
For that meeting?
That's a Friday night, Saul.
sorry? I'm looking at the wrong month. 25th.
That's
town meeting. So
That's town meeting,
hopefully you
right.
will be at the high school that evening.
Like
I said, it's a little more complicated to figure that out. So
Yeah.
we can
Never mind. Well,
figure it out offline.
You could just do the first of November. That's, before, the Park and Rec meeting,
yeah.
Hey, Kevin, while we're on the sports council, were you able to figure anything out from what we talked about?
Yeah, I talked to Alicia today a little bit. So Jillian Shaw, who I think is the new treasurer, they're bringing up something about some balance that they think they're owed from, I want to say 2018, 2019. So I'm going to email Jillian and just let her know that, and this is after my conversation with Alicia, was to put them two in touch and try to figure this out. She said that she has requested a meeting with the finance director, but I'm not sure where that went. So my what Alicia and I sort of agreed upon or just thought would be helpful was just say, Jillian, you call Alicia and you guys can talk it out and figure it out.
Yeah, I'm super happy to do that. It's the same as we've done in the past, where, I used to sit down with them and go through all the finances. You can ask Ted Doucette. He would sit there with like the books and go through everything for like a couple hours. So, whatever they need, I'm glad to help them out.
Okay, I'll send that email, at some point tonight, just to let her know to get in touch with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, I know that's, that's a resolution to try to solve this past stuff, but what are we doing about their usage of the fields now and, not reporting and, paying for what they're doing?
I mean, I think what we've got to do is invoice them for, so what is it, like the clinics or something they're doing that you guys didn't know about?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and you can't invoice when they're not being honest with their numbers either. So
Yeah.
they're the user group not paying for any field usage right now. And
Okay.
if this was the other way around, if Bobby wasn't paying for soccer and JR and lacrosse found out about that, then it'd be, people would be raising holy heck about it.
So Tim, it's the fall field usage. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, we're talking everything that they've used in 2021 so far. They still haven't paid their 2020, 2021 bill. So and
the only thing they haven't paid or they have outstanding is this past spring. So 21. So they have paid.
But we also don't know any of their usage numbers from July 1st on.
Agreed.
Okay. So we're looking at spring 2021. That's their sort of regular season usage. And then
they've already been invoiced for that. Yeah.
They have an invoice for that?
Yep.
Okay. And then anything after July 1, so usage numbers, we need to calculate the cost. Is that correct?
Yeah. So typically after spring, they're pretty much done. They, it's been, sometimes they'll do like a really small clinic in fall, but usually they work with us, to help them with that. So, and it's fine. They can do it on their own. I don't mind, but they still have to have a permit to use the fields.
And they don't have a permit at all for the clinics?
No one's even told me.
They didn't even communicate that they were doing it. We've been doing flag football down there at Alumni Field, and, just by happenstance, we've seen them down there.
Yeah.
So, it's the communication piece. It's all the way around.
Sure. Okay. I will bring that up with them.
I think the other thing to remember is too, and remind them that, we took that field offline for 2 years because of the damage lacrosse did to specifically the middle school field.
Yeah.
So, it's really important that we're bringing in, the revenue to make sure that Chris and his team have it in order to repair it. And then, the other piece is that we haven't really discussed is we're in the middle of a paint shortage. It's almost impossible to get paint. So we can't just be, using paint to paint fields, especially when people aren't, pulling their fair weight to do so.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my understanding though, that lacrosse they're not getting any paint. It was field hockey that needed the paint for the schools. Is that right? Or do you know something different, Tim?
I don't know with certainty. I know that when Stephen had called me last week when we were in our meeting, it was about that. So yeah, I'm not sure if they were painting that lacrosse field or not.
Okay. So we did get a shipment of paint in today. So that's like, thank goodness. So we are okay. We're set for now. But it's been absolutely crazy to try to get your hands on it. So. Tim, you want to move on? I guess we'll talk about some special events.
All right. So sorry if you guys can hear the TV in the background. I'm trying to entertain Finley. So we got special events that are coming up. First and foremost, Oktoberfest was a huge success as far as turnout and just kind of feedback that we got from it. The only piece of feedback that was really negative was the fact that, we did have some of the seniors who had a hard time getting into the park with handicap accessibility and parking, which, hopefully, we can mitigate and start to fix as we put these things on our capital budget and figure out how we can make all of our parks more accessible, specifically with Fay Park and trying to, renovate that, put some additional parking and some infrastructure in there to make it more of a usable place. But with that said, everybody who came seemed like they had a great time. We got good feedback from the police department and everybody. We estimate that we had about 1,500 to 2,000 people throughout the entire day. Sub Shop donated $2,500 back from their sales for the day. Steve Kennard donated $1,000 and paid for both bands that played. And we had a good turnout as far as it was really a great family-based event that we were hoping for. We also made about $1,000 worth of donations that were put into the various donation buckets that were around. And then in that $2,500 that the sub shop collected was the raffle that they hosted and donated that money back to us. So, definitely something that we want to look to grow in the future and really turn into, one of our key events that we do. So before I go on, does anybody have any questions about Oktoberfest? No.
Nope.
All right. So the next event that we have coming up is Trunk or Treat. So we are going to, change a little bit of our operation for Trunk or Treat. We're going to host it down at the Alumni Field parking lot, spread things out a little bit more than we have at 300 King. We're still going to do the parade. We're also partnering up with the PTA this year to try to have a better draw, have some more trunks, and we're going to show a Halloween themed movie on the big movie screen. So we'll be setting the screen up on Alumni Field. We'll be sitting everybody in the bleachers for the movie, and the PTA will be selling some snacks and stuff like that. So just trying to look at a different way that we can kind of build this, especially on the times that it falls on, the Saturday or Sunday nights where we have people looking for more, events and stuff to do. We have DJ Mike is going to be coming back for the first time in a couple of years doing the Kids Monster Mash. So it should be really awesome if we can get a couple of the park commissioners out there to be judges for the costume parade or even participate, with trunks themselves or at the Park and Rec trunk. I know that, in the past we've had Mike out there, we've had Fred out there and a couple of the other commissioners. So it's always awesome when you guys can get out to the events and shake some hands and talk to some of the residents and figure out, what we can do, what we're doing well, what we can do better. I think they're always really receptive to having that extra person to talk to. So that's October 30th. We're going to start at 4 p.m. at Alumni parking lot, and that's going to run through about 8:30, depending on when the movie ends. Any questions about that? All right, last but not least, holiday helpers. So we are getting into that time of year with the holiday helpers program. I know we've already had quite a few inquiries as to when we're starting it and what we're doing. And Alicia can speak more on the rollout process. The race has been something that has been in the decline for the past 5 years. We went from the turkey trot. We did the holiday helpers race. COVID kind of shut that down. We had barely any signups for our virtual race last year. And thankfully, the local businesses really came through quite strong and did a lot of donations that helped float us through the COVID year. What we're looking to do this year is change it to a more family-oriented event. So I'm in the process of trying to secure a location, but we're going to switch it to a bowl-a-thon. So we'll have different, different opportunities. We're going to secure a location, either Wamisit or Apex or something of that nature. Have more, family-friendly times built into it. And also, maybe do some senior and adult times to draw and really have much more of a rounded event than, what a race tends to offer us. So more to come on that. Hopefully we'll have that solidified in the next week so that we can get that going. Tentatively right now, we're looking at the Friday or the Saturday prior to Thanksgiving. So, we're hoping to host this the 19th or the 20th of November. That will also be able to get us revenues and monies and gifts out prior to when we really run into the crunch time of getting things in and back. So one of the things that we run into every single year, especially now that people have really started just buying everything on Amazon, is that we're always waiting for things to be delivered. We're always waiting for people to buy gifts. We're always waiting to the last minute where Alicia and I are having to run out and, buy everything that hasn't been bought literally the last day before people come and do pickups. So hopefully this will give people an extra 2 weeks. We'll be able to set the drop-off deadline earlier. We'll be able to set the pickup deadline as normal. And, we'll be able to make this a much more cohesive event. I also went up and spoke to Liz from Human Services. So hopefully we're going to be partnering with them a little stronger this year and helping, with the lift of getting this done, since a lot of the services they provide are to families who are also looking at this as a service for the season. So those are kind of the additions for this year. Hopefully they're really going to be good additions that are going to make positive benefits all the way around. So any questions on that?
Nope.
All right. Before I jump into this really quick, just to piggyback off of that, the applications for families that would like to apply to be part of Holiday Helpers, they are out. They have been given to the school nurses, so I know that they are going out to some of the families. We have copies at the office if folks want to come in. So, if anybody knows families, or if you're watching and you need a little extra help this winter holiday, please get in contact. We're here to help. We really want to, and it's something we enjoy doing and bringing this program to the community every year. So we want people to apply. We want people to be there. All right. So director's report. Typical, we'll go through our finance, and then we'll go through an update on the program coordinator hiring process and talk about the open space and recreation plan a little bit. So Tim, you want to switch to the next one there? There you go. Didn't all come through, but the main point is, we're in the positive for September. Like I said, I think I say it every month. It's good for us to look at the month to month, but ultimately it's the year to date that is the important piece to keep an eye on. So you can look on the rec desk chart that we were pretty even with where we were last year. So keeping in mind last year, we were doing the monitored remote learning program, which was just starting. So it was a pretty big program at that time. So, we're doing really well to be at that space of being very close to hitting the amount that we had in last September. Keeping in mind that we're also not running the RISE, the after school program with the middle school. Right now, at this point, we're looking at bringing that back in January. And we've kind of pulled back a little bit on some of the community education programs as well. So to know that we're like dead even, pretty close to it, is pretty darn good for September. Tim, you want to switch to the next one? Every time I try to fix all of these, so I don't know why the chart things just don't want to work. Anyway, the numbers are still there. So year to date, we're looking really good. We have 271,000 in the account right now. So, we're moving into that time frame where we're going to be seeing less revenue and just less spending overall. So once we get into the winter months, it's kind of quiet. And then, once we get back into spring, things really start swinging. But we do have quite a few things planned over the winter time. We are going to bring back a ski club, which is really great. So that information went out today. So it looks like Neshoba, we're going to be working with the Shaker Lane kids. The Russell Street kids will have the option of doing either Neshoba. So if they have a sibling that's in Shaker and, parents want to keep the kids together, they could go to Neshoba, or they could go to Wachusett. So they'll get an option if they're in Russell Street. And then again, the kids that are in the middle school will get to go to Wachusett. So all the information's out right now, which is really great. So that's usually a really popular program in winter. And we've got a couple other things on the books that we're looking for. So we'll be having our winter brochure coming out in November, which will be really great, that people can look at that and review it before December. So hopefully take a peek at it and figure out the programs that they want to be a part of, which would be fantastic. So in general, overall, we're looking really healthy. This is something a little bit different. So we started doing meetings a little bit differently in the office. And so one of the meetings that we have at the beginning of the month is on finances specifically. So this was just some calculations that I ran over the summer. So you can see the different numbers. That's where we were in the positive for each of the programs. So, the programs did really, really well this summer. This is the first time that we've had community education in the positive. Also keeping in mind that, we did lose our staff member that was in charge of community ed at the end of August. So that kind of, probably wouldn't be the same if, she was still here and being paid. But overall, the programs have been doing really great. And, the staff has been doing an amazing job at keeping it going. And really proud of them. Any questions on any of the finance stuff?
Nope.
No.
Okie dokie. So this is our update on the program coordinator hiring process. So we have offered the position to Sam Sengus. He has accepted and is very excited about coming into the office. We're going to try to get him in here as soon as we possibly can. But Sam comes to us he lives in Acton, and he's got a Bachelor of Science in Recreation Management from Springfield College. And he has been working for Hudson Recreation on and off seasonally since 2016, and working as a assistant site coordinator for the CHAPS program, which is very similar to Tiger's Den. So he's been, doing all of that stuff at the same time and getting a degree. So he's a hustler. So we're excited to be able to bring Sam on. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. Fred, I would need your signature on a payroll authorization form just to finalize things. But otherwise, we're really excited to have Sam become part of the team.
Good. Well done.
Yay! All right.
Hey, Sam.
Yay, Sam. Moving on. You'll all get a chance to meet him. He's a really, really great guy. So yeah, when he comes in, you guys can stop in and say hi. All right.
And just so you can all be reassured, I stayed completely out of the process, so he should stay longer than a year, unlike the recent people I've been involved with. So,
Frederick Freund. All right.
Fred.
Moving on. All right. Aaron, my friend, conversations have started about open space and recreation plan for 2023. So the previous open space and recreation plan was completed in 2016. And it's only valid for 7 years. And what that plan does is it allows our community to be open to a myriad of different grants that we can use over that time frame. So we're looking at probably in the next 6 months that we'll really genuinely have to start this process again. So Gary Austin was a park commissioner previously who was really involved. Mike, you did a little bit towards the tail end. Yeah.
I was on it for the last year.
Yeah. So, it's something that it's going to take about 1.5 years to complete all of the work. So currently, Marin is looking for funding options. We have a couple of different paths. Aaron, I sent you some information earlier today. So if you get a chance to take a look at that, let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, absolutely.
But it's a really awesome process to go through. Essentially, we have to take stock of everything that's in town and come up with a set of goals that we want to accomplish over those 7 years that we have access to those grants. And moving forward into this one, I really, really would like to see us make some headway and get some work done for the parks. And specifically, as Tim had mentioned earlier, we did put in the capital request, but, there's things like fixing some of the ADA, AAB issues that we have in the parks that, there could be grants in here that could really help us do that. So, that's something that we're really looking forward to moving into it. So just giving it a heads up because this is coming down the pipeline. So again, Aaron, if you have any questions or what it's going to look like, you can reach out to myself or Mike, and I'm happy to speak to you. I'm sure. I hope Mike is.
Yeah, I probably still have a lot of the documentation from last go around.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be great.
Aaron, I think one of the biggest things too is if you want to, work with me, we requisition the money for the statistically valid survey. So, getting that put together and getting that survey done by the outside resource hopefully will give us a lot of ground to stand on when it comes to making that plan. Because if we do that survey correctly, it should be the most comprehensive study that anybody has to go off of in what the town and the residents and everybody not only want, but from a park and recreation standpoint and just wellness standpoint need. If you have the time, it would be greatly appreciated and also probably very pertinent for you to be part of that process as well.
Nope, absolutely. That'll be great. We should definitely connect and get moving on that.
Okay, cool. Any other questions about open space and recreation plan?
Nope.
Okie doke. No new business? Unless anybody else has new business.
Nope.
No old business. So you know what time it is, friends.
Before we do that, Tim, I need to speak with you 1 minute after we're done. I just have a question for you. The other thing is, if I ever call anybody and you're in a meeting or you're busy, you can just say to me, I'm in a meeting, and hang up the phone. I will not take offense to being hung up on or whatever else. I understand. So I called Alicia today and she was trying to tell me she's in a meeting without offending me and getting me off the phone. And like I said, I don't care. Just say I'm in a meeting and hang up the phone. Feel free. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. And you can't just drop out. We actually have to vote on that. So you can hang up on me later.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second the motion to adjourn.
All right. All in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Saul,
Yes.
and I'm yes as well. So you all have a pleasant evening.
You too, guys.
You as well.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
It was good to see
Good night,
everyone.
everyone.